Sometimes it takes a little moment to catch up and everything. See? That's why we...
There's no red light.
What's that? No, the red light means it stopped.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, but a little behind the scenes there here at Pozzible Movie Review. How you doing, everybody? It's your good friend Pozzible here, and I got Bucky.
Hello.
And Joe.
How's it going?
And we're here today to bring up again the next batch of what movies are coming out this weekend on the 12th. It's, the holidays are all over with now, and now it's just hot. 100, what was today? Just like 112, wasn't it, or something?
Feels like it's 654.
Yeah, give or take. Alright, so first off, what's coming up but Pacific Rim? Genres always have a way of coming back after they've gone away. And this time we're trying to bring back the monster genre. Big machines here are now to battle, Godzilla wannabes, basically. From the deep oceans, a whole bunch of monsters the size of a skyscraper are popping out. So we were able to make these machines. Pretty convenient, don't you think?
Yeah.
Obviously that's going to take a while to create there. But you know what? Regardless of whether or not this movie is actually good, I really hope it succeeds. It'd be nice if the monster genre had a movie that was worthwhile. We've had Cloverfield, we've had Godzilla. None of them really are up to the expectations of what we want from movies nowadays, and I hope this bucks the trend.
Cloverfield was good.
Cloverfield was all right, but actually I was really annoyed. I was bored by Cloverfield. Come on, it wasn't about the big monster. That was my complaint about Cloverfield. It was a bunch of dumb kids who went for a walk.
True, but it was like they didn't need to show the monster because it was so well written.
It wasn't that well written. Besides, that's the point of making these big monsters movie. When you see Pacific Rim, you'll understand because it's a movie that's about big monsters and the people defeating them, not about the kids who are just running around like chickens with their head cut off. But I definitely want to give this a see it. I got to admit though, I don't think it's going to be good.
One thing that kind of puts me off for the movie for the most part is the title. You think that with something, for me, a more bigger draw would be, robot jocks versus, aliens or something.
Something more conducive to why is it called Pacific Rim?
Well, I'm just saying, it's just that the title...
Yeah.
Because let's face it, a lot of people judge movies based on their title.
Right.
And for me, it's like, when I hear Pacific Rim, unless I see the trailer, I'm expecting some sort of Navy movie or something.
Or some sort of island movie.
Or something.
Yeah.
And so once I see the trailer, I'm thinking, oh great, okay, we got Robot Jocks kind of mixed a little bit with Battleship.
Gosh, you remember Robot Jocks?
It was one of the first movies to do this, pretty much.
Yeah. To have those big... and that wasn't even a Rock'em Sock'em Robot style like Real Steel was. But that was more like mecha. You ever play those mecha games?
No.
Joe?
Very rarely.
Very rarely. Okay. But yeah, I tried them. My problem with those mega games is that they're too slow. Moving that machine, and that machine didn't dodge or anything. You just had to stay there and take the bullets, which is what they were built for.
Right.
But if your enemy was far away, it took you a long time to get up to your enemy. But you had everything.
Turning in them wasn't that good either.
Yeah, exactly. You had bombs, you had guns, you had everything. And this one does have an interesting concept because the idea is you've got two people who control this one robot, and it's the same machine. So they got to think the same at the same time and everything in order for this machine to work. And that's going to be the crazy part. The crazy part is going to be watching the quote-unquote training. You know what I'm saying? The whole, okay, guys, you got to be friends, you got to work like a team. And, of course, you got that famous line from the trailers, tonight we are canceling the apocalypse. I think it's going to be a little over-traumatic. I'm going to give it a decide. I can't really give it a see it because I think it's going to be too cheesy. I can't give it a pass because I want it to succeed so badly, How about you, Buck? What do you say?
I'm curious about it. It'll be weird seeing Heimdall in a different movie, but... he hasn't really impressed me yet as an actor, except when he was Heimdall. But depending on the rest of the cast, I would probably say see it.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say decide it for yourself because I don't really have a lot to go on at this point, but it is a movie that has my interest peaked.
And you think for a summer movie, this should be pretty basic. It's an action movie, right?
Yeah.
But I think what we've come to understand is that we really expect more from our action movies. A good plot, good characters.
Right.
And I think it's going to be the characters that kill it, ultimately, in my opinion. But we don't know yet. I mean, the action hasn't come out. I really want to succeed. I hope they prove me wrong. One real funny thing about this movie, we really don't know who's in it, except for the guy who's Heimdall, you know? What's his real name, Bucky?
Idris Elba.
Ah, good. Who else is in it? Oh, Ron Perlman. But Ron Perlman's not going to be one of the jocks running the machines, you know? He's going to have a supporting role.
Idris Elba is actually on the sidelines. He's not in a suit either.
Right, well, he's probably their sergeant. He's the guy who gives them the orders and everything. You know?
Sure, because if he was in the suit, let's face it, it's a movie rule. The black guy dies first.
Uh-oh. Let's hope that doesn't go through. However, I have to admit, I don't see a long life for him in that movie. Let's face it. I mean, I see a lot of people dying, you know? But I hope it succeeds. I really hope it goes. Next up, we got Grown Ups Part 2. I never saw Part 1. Did you?
Yes, I did.
Joe?
I did not.
Okay. So, Bucky, what did you think of Grown Ups Part 1? Be honest.
It was... I will say that these four work well together as a comedy team.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the thing that made the first movie was the kids. They were hilarious in it. But, of course, now it's Part 2. The kids are a little bit older. The grown-ups are more immature. So I'm expecting more, humor like in the first movie. Yeah, so I'm probably going to say for this one, see it.
Actually, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to give it a pass. And I'll tell you why. First off, Adam Sandler, unfortunately, has not really done much right recently. He's got a bad track record going on.
You mean you didn't see Jack and Jill?
Or That's My Boy. Yeah, I haven't seen his movie, so I'm hoping he's toned himself down and brought himself back to earth. That said, what really bothers me about this movie really is the introduction of Taylor Lautner. As the, kind of like their anti-person. What is he, part of a fraternity or something? And
I have no idea.
Yeah. But also it's the fact that it's a sequel. And so often these comedy sequels just go really downhill. In the beginning, when they first make them, they're more serious. They put in the comedy, but they keep it down to earth. And sometimes, the track record of comedy sequels is to just go get wilder, get funkier, and it just bombs. So I'm going to give it a pass. I never saw the original anyway, so, I mean, you know me and comedies, guys. If you've seen any of my reviews, comedies and I just don't get along. Joe, what do you think?
I actually, again, I'm kind of interested. It piqued. I wasn't really interested until I saw the trailer. I may end up seeing this one as well.
I am curious if Adam Sandler has been in a Part 2 comedy before. I don't think he has.
I think this is a first for a lot of them. Chris Rock, I don't remember him being in any sequels, per se. Kevin James comes from a series.
Of Adam Sandler just in one of his movies, Part 2, and can't think of any of his movies that had a Part 2 to it.
Very rare, very rare. But you know what? I'm hoping that these guys can buck the trend. But you know what? If anything, Adam Sandler needs a comeback. After what he's done so far, he needs to come back to us. All right, guys. Well, that's it for now. You know what? This is our second podcast today. We are podcasting the new number 2 podcast. It's on Facebook. It's a great podcast about The Prisoner, a 1967 TV show.
Cult classic in England.
And even here, I think it doesn't have as big as a following here, but even here, I think it's it has a cult classic status. Would you say?
I will say that from what I found out, not many Americans know about it. I mean, a few select do, but
my dad knew about it.
But basically, I know that it is to the UK what Star Trek is to the US. Mm-hmm. So, as far as people knowing about it.
Right, and if you haven't had a chance yet, try to check out The Prisoner, the 1967 TV show with Patrick McGowan. If you find anything that says Jim Caviezel, run, don't walk away from that.
Yeah, that's called The Prisoner also, but that was a miniseries which was not really well liked by fans.
Oh, as a fan of the series, I felt it was a big slap in the face insult. Well, until then, we'll see you at the theaters. Be seeing you.
Be seeing you.
Bye.